this is Maddie. Welcome to the Inside Scoop on Wheel Pose. So what I'm going to be breaking down basically are some nice warm-ups for wheel, some nice props that we can use for wheel, and also some like variations into wheel pose that you can work on. First warm-up that I like is Camel. I just did a whole video on that if you'll want to go check that out. Basic idea of Camel is that it's not just a low back stretch. It also elongates the whole body, which I think is an amazing prep for wheel. So just kind of like planting those knees down, hips above the knees. Always feel free to grab any padding that you need. Hands sealed at the low back as we open up here. If you can reach down for your ankles, if you can reach down for blocks, awesome. That's a great place to be. Another great low back warm-up is Baby Cobra. Coming down to the stomach, tops of the feet sealed down. Maybe you are engaging those legs so much that the knees lift, but still engaging the legs. Hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, peel that head, neck, and chest up. Hip bones grounding in, using the power of that low back. Exhale, bring it down. Another great low back stretch, not so much a warm-up that we can come into, is Sphinx, creating the number 11. Here, let me just up. Creating the number 11 here with our arms. Making my way back. And just grounding in the hands, pulling the chest between the upper arms. Nice. You can also come into half locust, interlacing the hands behind the low back, lifting it up, peeling the head, neck, and chest, like a step up from Baby Cobra, or you can let the legs lift up as well for full locust. So a lot of the apprehension when it comes to a full wheel is just kind of like where you are in relation to your body. You feel like your head's kind of in an awkward place. You're not used to going in that direction in any shape or form. So a lot of how I feel like people start out with the idea of it is by putting your back to a wall, bringing your hands boop, boop behind you on that wall, and just kind of pushing the wall away from you, dropping your head. Chin to chest as we come out of it. And that's like a good way to kind of get that feeling of being in that position. Another thing to warm up is the wrists. Wrists are something we don't necessarily think about when it comes to wheel. But if we can't get our wrists in this position, boop, boop, then wheel pose is going to be kind of unfun. So some wrist stretches that I like are turning our fingers out so our wrists are facing each other and just rocking back and forth. Knees underneath the hips, tabletop position, rocking back and forth. Another one that you see quite often is turning your fingers towards your knees. And you can go as far as feels okay. You don't have to go all the way for this to feel good. And then just rocking back and forth. So even if your fingers are like at a 45 degree, still rocking back and forth, still doing great. And then one of my favorites, turn your fingers back towards the front of your mat, and then take your right hand, flip it over so the top of your hand is on the mat, fingers pointing towards your knees, and then just make a fist and release it. Make a fist and release it, and repeat it on the other side. Boop, 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 boop. Boops are optional, but for me, they're just kind of involuntary. Flip that palm back over, coming back to that tabletop, and then Another good wrist stretch always is just to interlace the fingers and roll it around. It's another reason why you don't see wheel typically in a class until later on, is because all of these things need to be warmed up. So make sure you're nice and warm before making this work. Now, just a really passive thing that we can do is come into a supported bridge. Like if you're just chilling at home, watching TV, like if you don't mind being at this angle watching TV, want to stretch out that low back, coming to a supported bridge pose, whoop, bringing that block underneath the low back here, letting your hips settle, getting used to this. That also just feels really good in general. So even if you're not working towards wheel, just maybe give it a try. And then, of course, the precursor to wheel is usually always bridge. So bridge, we've got our hands by our hips, we've got our shoulders away from the ears, and we root down through the feet, root down through the shoulders, lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So this is the motion that we'll be doing with wheel as well. Rooting down to the feet, rooting down. And then I like to tip my chin away from my chest. I've heard it said either way. So do what feels best for you. And then slowly release that down. And then finally, wheel pose. Bring your hands by your head, fingertips pointed towards your body. And then from here, there's like a good way that you can come up into this where you don't really feel like you have to fully commit. And that's lift your hips up like bridge and then just whoop, come to the top of your head. Of course, if you have any neck problems, I wouldn't do that. But if you feel okay in the neck, then that's a great place to be. Once again, we whoop, pop on the top of the head, and then use those arms, use that core lifted on up. Once you're up here, you want to walk those feet underneath the hips, walk those hands underneath the shoulders, knees in towards one another, reaching those hips up. And when you want to come down, chin in towards the chest as we roll it all down. And then feet together, knees apart is a good counter pose to this. If this is ever too much, pop some blocks underneath those legs for more support. Get that breathing under control. Feel that low back settle. Feel that spine settle. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. All right, well, thanks so much for getting the inside scoop on wheel pose with me at Soul Strong Yoga. Once again, my name is Maddie, and if there are any other poses that you'd like to see me cover, just drop them down below, leave us a comment. All right, I hope wherever you are in your day, you're having a good one. Bye-bye.